Bridget is a high-low mix character that can zone out opponents from full screen with their long-range normals, or quickly get in with her projectile yo-yos. Bridget's only flaws as a character are her low health pool and mediocre damage off mix-ups. I would rank Bridget at 3.5 out of 5 stars in difficulty. There's nothing particularly mechanically demanding about her, however, she requires in-depth knowledge of a lot of different setups and situations to be played effectively. Bridget's also a very prominent character at high level and is somewhat of a secret high tier in the meta right now. Bridget's basic Oki setup involves canceling sweep into 214S yo-yo, then doing roll on 214K. From there, you have a few different options. Firstly, you can cancel your roll into JD to hit the opponent overhead. You want to hit the JD right before she's next to the opponent's shoulder. Alternatively, you could cancel roll into jump K and go low with 2K. You can also grab here, however, you need to time it so your yo-yo doesn't OTG. All of these options will also safe jump the opponent's reversals if timed correctly. It's also worth mentioning that if you ever get caught in a reversal while doing roll, you can always jump and block within the gap. If your opponent managed to block your first mix-up, you can go into Bridget's second layer of mix where she gets another 50-50. If you went overhead, simply go into 214K a second time to get another mix. If you went low, you can transition from 6K or 6H depending on what you confirmed into. After the second layer, Bridget gets additional pressure depending on whether she went for a high or a low attack. If you went for a low, you could go into 6H, 236H into one of her far-reaching normals. Although it's technically negative on block, almost no characters have any moves that can contest you afterwards. You could also use 214H in this situation, however, this setup can easily be mashed on or escaped by opponents. If you went high, you can simply transition into close slash. Bridget can set up a safe jump from almost any of her main combos, which I'll talk about how to execute later. For now, just know she has a few options when performing them. Firstly, you can hit overhead with JS and go into close slash pressure. Or you could whiff a JK and empty jump into a low. Or whiff JK into a throw. You can even get creative with something like tap dust. In addition to powerful mix-up, Bridget also has access to strong mid-range pressure. This is the basic structure for Bridget's block strings without yo-yo. This can be made airtight or be manually delayed to frame trap opponents. At any time in the block string, preferably when you're further away from your opponent, you can cancel into any of Bridget's stop and dash yo-yos. Using 236S allows you to extend your long range pressure and gives you access to using 214K in pressure sequences. 214S also gives you access to roll and can be used to get a free mix-up on the opponent after locking them down with a normal. Opponents will easily be able to react in anti-air 214K. However, you can cancel it early into JH to bait it. In addition to staggering 2S after stop and dash, you should also be staggering 2H in order to bait out jumps from the opponent and continue your pressure. Here are some examples of block strings incorporating all these techniques. After you land JD, go into the first hit of close slash and cancel into 214K. Once you land on the ground, go into another close slash. From here, you have a few different options. First, you could cancel into 5H and then the follow-up into 236K to get a wall splat. Or you could cancel into far slash, then 5H plus the follow-up to get a wall splat that way. This version does a little less damage, but is a little more consistent, and doesn't leave you in a really bad spot if you mess it up. You can also still wall break with super if you Kara, which I'll talk about later. Lastly, you could cancel into 2H, 214S to get a safe jump afterwards. For the confirm off the low hit, it's pretty much the exact same thing. After you land the 2K, go into 6H, then immediately cancel into 214K. From there, you have the same variations of options as you did with the overhead. You can also use 6K here instead of 6H. After the JD lands, go into close slash 2H to get a safe jump on the opponent. Unlike in layer 1 of the mix-up, we don't have an extra hit from the yo-yo returning to get consistent wall splat. However, if you want to break wall here, you could always do 2S 5H into Roger. You don't get very much off the layer 2 low. Your best option is to do 2K into 6H and hit confirm into 214S yo-yo. If they were to block it, you would do the 236S yo-yo instead. Alternatively, if you have meter, you could do 2K, 6K, and combo into 236KK. If they were to block, you can fast RC JS to hit overhead, or fast RC down 2S to hit low, and continue your pressure that way. After the counter hit close slash, you're going to go into charge dust, then 5K. As soon as the 5K hits, use the dash macro to dash cancel and hit 2K as you go under the opponent. Next, go into close slash, then after a slight delay, land the first hit of 2S. Then cancel into 5H and then the follow up to get a wall splat. All of Bridget's combos off her normals are almost exactly the same regardless of the button. I'll demonstrate it with close slash, but the general rule is to go into 5H and follow up with scooter. In the corner, you can wall splat with the follow up and break wall with super. The combo will change slightly depending on the height you hit them at. However, the general structure is the same. If you don't have your yo-yo out, on counter hit 2H, you can cancel into 214S and micro dash to get a second 2H, then go into 214K and close slash once they get low enough to the ground. From there, you can safe jump or do whatever you want. If you already had your yo-yo out, you can delay 214K to land when they're at the correct height. For the non-counter hit version, if you already had your yo-yo out, you can do the same combo. However, if you don't, you should just go for a safe jump. Bridget's neutral game plan revolves around using her long-range normals to keep opponents locked down as much as possible. When your opponent is out of range, you can use her 214S or 214H yo-yo to get in on the opponent for free, as the returning hit of the yo-yo will put your opponent in the block stun, so you can start your pressure. Here are a few examples of some auto time setups. Bridget's jumping 236k is also a great option for mixing up an opponent trying to anti-air you. Bridget's command grab, Rock the Baby, is a great tool for catching opponents doing wake up backdash. However, outside of this one instance, her command grab is severely overused. Bridget has some of the hardest to deal with pressure and 50-50 mix-ups in the game, as well as decent damage. Comparatively, Rock the Baby is a slow, easily reactable throw mix-up that can easily put Bridget into a losing scenario. It's a move that could potentially cost you the whole game, so I would suggest using it sparingly. A mix-up character having access to a meterless reversal is extremely powerful. Unfortunately, not many Bridget players use this move to its full potential and opt to spam it on wake up, potentially losing the round off the single bait from the opponent. For optimal chances of success when using Starship, try using it inside the gap of an opponent's block string. That way, it's more difficult for the opponent to bait it out or accidentally catch it with the throw. Additionally, showing your opponent you're willing to use other defensive options against them can increase your success rate further. You can use Bridget's projectile super to punish opponents trying to react to your pressure in a similar way to J8. You can also use it to beat anti-airs when you're airborne, and against zoning moves such as Happy Chaos's gun. You can Kara Bridget's supers using the follow-up attacks of 236k. I won't go in depth on what a Kara is, but on Bridget, all you need to do is go into 236k, then input the super motion. Then press P and the button for the super you want at the same time. That's all I'm going to be covering in this guide. Bridget has a bunch of depth and a huge number of different options you can implement. If you're looking for new things to try, I'd recommend watching Days or Diaphone. For now, I'll leave you with a few extras.